Greetings everyone, Spartan here, coach of the Victor Team. Welcome to the PBAL team builder for week 1. We're going up against Koala T-Trainer, coach of the Athens Hydras. Hopefully that this week will go all smoothly. As I mentioned before in the draft analysis, I'm not trying to focus on winning. I'm trying to focus on having fun, specifically using like text that I want to use and see how things go. So if I lose, I lose. If I win, bonus points, because I don't want to stress myself on like trying to win, So I just want to make sure I don't like try to stress myself over on when I'm team building for my PBAL matches. Another thing to mention about the team builders, there's going to be a couple weeks where I'm not going to be showing off a team builder. This is specifically for like rematches, because there's going to be a couple of battles where there will be like rematches, so be a lookout for that. But without further ado, let's get into look at what we're up against. So as I mentioned before, this is an open Z, so all up for grabs for Z crystals, and my opponent has a pretty interesting team. He has Zero Aura, Toxapex, Volcarona, Mega Aerodactyl, Bronzong, Delmise, Piloswine, Comfey, Salamence, Pissimian, and Porygon Z. First of all, Pokemon inspired much? I mean, half of this team is pretty much similar to Pokemon's WBE team, with all Toxapex, Volcarona, Bronzong, Piloswine, and Comfey, with a little sprinkle of Zero Aura. Zero Aura is his fastest Mon. It's a really good electric type. It hits hard physically and can also run specially as well. Has good moves such as Knock Off, Grass Knot, Fire Punch, Close Combat, especially its signature move, Plasma Fist, which hits really hard. This is probably one of the few mods I see as a Z user, just because of its move pool. Toxapex is annoying. You know how Toxapex is. Just Zorps hits, recovers, scalds, and poisons. That's pretty much it. But it depends on how my opponent uses Toxapex. Volcarona is probably his most threatening Mon on his team. Definitely need hazards up on the field so that Volcarona won't be too much of a problem. I have to make sure that he doesn't try to get rid of the hazards or try to force him to try to, as I try to counteract with that as best as possible. I can see Volcarona running a dual stab with Giga Drain with either Quiver Dance or Roost. Just try to keep it sustained and alive. So I have to make sure I can't let that happen. Mega Aerodactyl also is another Mon that's also faster than Zero Aura. I mentioned a lot about not Zero Aura, Mega Aerodactyl before. It hits hard if it lands its hits. I could see it running like Stone Edge, Earthquake, maybe Roost, and like a coverage move, maybe Ice Fang or Fire Fang. Most definitely, but other than that, not too much of a problematic Mon as long as I can able to wear it down. Bronzong is a very bulky Steel and Psychic type. It could set up Trick Room, it could set up rocks, probably use like a Toxic set maybe, or like a offensive trick room set with gyro ball, or maybe psychic and like a explosion. Just a way to cause problems against my team. Another mon is Delmise. Pretty much a mon that has 3 stab, like triple stab with Steelworker as one of its abilities. Anchor Shot can hit pretty hard, along with its dual stabbing. Has rapid spin, so it doesn't have to. It can keep up his hazards on his side while removing my hazards on his side. I pretty much see it as like an offensive, like maybe assault vest, maybe. Nothing to worry about. It'll probably be able to take down, not as long as I don't worry too much about it. Piloswine, so bulky. Excuse me. Bulky ground and ice type. It's very beneficial for being such a low tier mon. Very bulky with the Eviolite. Access to its stab with Icicle Crash, Icicle Spear, Ice Shard, maybe even Freeze Dry, and Earthquake, maybe even Bulldoze. Some covers such as Superpower and Stone Edge, and most likely its main rocker. In terms of the matchup, him bringing it's a possibility. You could probably bring in for my Mega Isle, my Aerodactyl, but I could still be able to beat it down with my Mons. I'm not too worried about it. Comfey, if I let it set up, it will be a problem. It'll probably be a Calm Mind set with Draining Kiss, Giga Drain, and HP Fire. Pretty much hit through most of my team. I do have one mon that could probably wall it, but if he tries to wall it, it'll probably be HP Ground, which I can still beat it. Makes it a little bit easier for me. Salamence, a big threat. I can see it as a Scarf Mon. I can see it as a Bandit. I can see it as a Z with like Flying Z or Dragonium Z, maybe, or even Groundium Z. I can see this as one of his other Z-Mons. Dragon Dance is no joke, and if I don't like keep it in check, I can probably lose against this and get swept by it. Passimian, also a mon that I can see as a possible Z, but I can also at the same time see it as a Scarf Mon or a Bandit set, maybe a Life Orb or an Assault Vest. Good coverage with Close Combat, U-Turn, Knockoff, Earthquake, Rock Slide. A couple of the Elemental Punches, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a good, very physically offensive mon to be worried about, and I have to be careful with its Defiant ability as well. And last but not least, Porygon Z, one of its, in my opinion, one of its sleeping special attackers. Adaptability is no joke, as well as a possible trace or download Porygon Z. I have to be careful with that. It could also be a good Z-Mon. It could probably run maybe Z Hyper Beam. Don't doubt that it can happen. Going for a very, very heavy hitting Breakneck Blitz, or it could probably run like maybe conversion to Shadow to Ghost type, so it'd be running Shadow Ball and running Never Ending Nightmare. Luckily, there's no Omni boosting, so you don't have to worry about like Z conversion. So overall, the mons that I could see him bringing against me are definitely Zero Aura, definitely Toxapex, definitely Bronzong, maybe in Piloswine, Salamence, 1, 2, Volcarona, Bronzong is 4. So it comes up the air between like Salamence, and then the last mon being either is like hazard remover, like Comfey or Delmise. I could see him bringing Mega Aerodactyl. I could probably wear it down, so it's a questionable. But without further ado, enough about his team. Let's see what we are bringing against him. So first up, I got Kyle, the only Don fan that matters. I have a relatively offensive Don fan. I'm thinking about changing leftovers to Expert Belt because its offensive pressure is really good. Earthquake hits hard, a lot of its grounded mons. Ice Shard for Salamence and Mega Aerodactyl. Stone Edge to punish Mega Aerodactyl, his flying types, and Volcarona. And Knockoff is just a good coverage for Bronzong. It is a nice switching into Zero Aura. Gotta keep in mind of potential Grass Knot. I'm deciding whether or not to give it leftovers, like I said, Expert Belt or even Lumberry, because if I can keep Donphan from being burnt or poisoned, I can be able to keep it alive long enough so I can be able to break through its entire team. Next mon up on our team is Rose, the Scolipede. I'm bringing in a Sash lead, most likely with Baton Pass, Spikes, Bug Bite, and Endeavor. Since most of his defoggers are ground and hazard removals are grounded, Spikes will come a long way if I can keep them up. Bug Bite, just in case he has like any potential like berries, like pinch berries or super effective berries. Endeavor, just in case if Sculpey out of the blue goes all the way to 1 HP, they're going to be able to outspeed, and the Baton Pass just in case as a last resort, so I'll be able to Baton Pass into a few of my offensive threats that I have on my team. Next up on the team is Whitney, the Miltank. This is a defensive Rocky Helmet set with Thick Fat. I went with Thick Fat over Sap Sipper because I don't want to get destroyed by Volcarona. I mean, even though I have another mon with me that can pretty much wall Volcarona, but I just want to have a Thick Fat mon just in case. I got Body Slam, Milk Drink, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. With Toxic, I don't have to be walled by Delmise. I'm able to wither it down, Vortex to switch out. Body Slam pretty much hits everything relatively well and has a chance to paralyze his entire team. Outside of Zero Aura, Stealth Rock is it's just a move that I really want to keep on the field, especially since Volcarona is a threat, and also Salamence and Mega Aerodactyl, and Milk Drink to keep it healthy. I went with Rocky Helmet because a lot of his physical attackers, especially Delmise and Mega Aerodactyl, has some contacting moves, so I'm able to punish it relatively well with it. Now here comes more of my offensive team. Offensive threats. First up, I got Meg, the Mega Maw-Isle. I'm running a relatively semi-fast, semi-bulky that to able to work out with Rose's speed boost, just in case if I can Baton pass its speed into Mega Maw-Isle. Its initial ability will probably be Intimidate, especially relatively well against his threats such as Salamence and Mega Aerodactyl. Gonna get a nice initial Intimidate so I can weaken their attacks. I got Play Rough, Rock Slide, Thunder Punch, and Sucker Punch. Rock Slide pretty much demolishes Volcarona. Play Rough is a good stab move overall. Thunder Punch is to punish Toxapex, and then Sucker Punch just in case if I get outsped and I just want to get a nice chip damage or deal a lot of damage on like Bronzong, for instance. So that's one of my offensive mons. Next one is a little bit of heat. I'm bringing Joey, the Latios. I'm bringing Z Earthquake into this match because with Z Earthquake, with this investment, I guarantee take out Zero Aura outside of Shuck Berry. And I don't die to knock off. Ice Beam hits a lot of his mons relatively well, and then Psychic is very spammable. Roost is to keep it a little bit healthy and keep it viable. I gave it enough speed to outspeed his ideally fastest mon, which are both Volcarona and Salamence. So be able to gauge whether or not they're Scarf or not. And then last but not least, I got Choice Specs Chandelure. Shantae the Chandelure. I got Choice Specs with Energy Ball, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, and Trick. Flash Fire, so I won't get demolished by spammable fire attacks from Volcarona. And any of its other moves won't really affect it outside of, like, let's say HP Rock or HP Ground. Shadow Ball pretty much hits everything outside of Porygon Z. Flamethrower hits everything that isn't resisted. Energy Ball to cover any of its potential weaknesses. And then Trick just in case if I wanted to, let's say, trick my specs on, let's say, a physically offensive Delmise. That way I could have a little bit more flexibility in my moves. Sure, I won't hit that hard, but the flexibility and the damage will be in the moves will be very beneficial, especially if I, let's say, use Baton Pass onto Chandelure. I can be able to have at least +1, if not +2 speed with a +1 in special attack of a Chandelure, to be able to spam its special attacks relatively well. That's overall the team. I know I don't have like a lot of def bulk, but I just want to go a little bit more on the offensive. I want to try to see how I could do well if I could put my team more on an offensive opposition, you know. And this will be a nice way to test out the waters of the team. So that's all I have with the team. This is what I'm bringing. Tomorrow the battle will begin. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope this team builder gives you a little bit more insight of how I want to try to play through this season. Try to go a little bit offensive, maybe on a little bit of defensive. Who knows? But hopefully this team will put in a lot of work. So thank you everyone for watching. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.